we don't like the truth. And sometimes speaking the truth isn't fun either. This is why the Prophet ﷺ, to help you and I get on the right wavelength of thought, he said, قُولُ الْحَقَّ وَلَوْ كَانَ مُرًّا. Speak the truth even if the truth is something that is bitter. Speaking truth is sometimes difficult. Realities are hard to express, and we assume that just because something is good, that it'll be fun. Just because something is good, that means it has to be enjoyable, and that's not true. The believer's life is supposed to have difficulties. So the kuffar of the city of Mecca, whether they were Ahlul Kitab, the Christians, the Jews, or whether they were the Meccans, the polytheists, the mushrikeen themselves, all of them were given enough reason to understand that the Quran is the word of Allah. But yet, in spite of that, they didn't choose option 1. They chose option 2, which is what? Figure out a way to wriggle yourself out of responsibility by making up whatever reason comes to mind. And as Muslims, we fall for this trap all the time. When something we come to know is haram, sometimes the immediate answer is, well, I've been doing this my whole life. Obviously, this has nothing to do with whether something is halal or haram, but an excuse comes out that I'm not going to be able to give that up, so maybe the deen should change. Maybe there must be an answer outside of what Allah said, which will still save me and protect me. Sometimes when people are confronted with the truth, subhanAllah, and there are many sensitive situations where this happens. One situation is that a brother decided to accept Islam. Okay? He loved a woman, and he loved Allah. He accepted Islam. And in the course of accepting Islam, he was told that your relationship is not a halal relationship. Right? You can't have this relationship with this woman that you're in love with unless you make things halal. Now there's two ways to approach this situation. One is with hikmah, which is to tell someone this after it is that they've had some relationship in knowing who Allah is. Of course, we should always take the path of wisdom. But regardless, that doesn't mean we should conceal the truth. The truth is the truth. And sometimes the truth is not an easy thing to bear. The truth is we might have spent our whole life doing something haram. We might have spent our whole lives harboring an ego. Now's the time to cut that from my life. It's not the time to simply adopt what it is I've done my whole life just simply because it's all I know. So the kuffar of Mecca and the Quraysh, they made this mistake. All of them presented arguments to the Prophet ﷺ about why their religion is better than Islam. They already received enough information about why Islam is true. But what's the reason they came up with? The hadith mentioned, the riwayat mentioned, that these three groups of people, they came to the Prophet ﷺ and they said, listen, our Prophet is Nabi Musa and he's senior to your Nabi. He came before. Others came and said, our Prophet, our leader is Nabi Isa. Of course, they didn't call him Nabi. But they said, our leader is Jesus and he's senior to your Prophet. And then the Quraysh came and they said that we're the children of Ibrahim and he's your father. So our way of life is better than your way of life because we're following the origin, the essence. Of course,